As our world changes, we'll keep you up to date. News Talk KVNU 102 FM 610 AM. Also on the new KVNU mobile app.
KVNU News Time is 5:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by Logan Extermination. A warrant has been issued for a 29-year-old Logan man suspected of bursting into a home before being shot by the homeowner last weekend. Julio Dalton Lopez reportedly fled an Ogden hospital this week before law enforcement could arrest him. According to the warrant affidavit, Logan City police officers responded to the home after multiple 911 calls about a reported gunshot early Saturday morning. One of the callers, the homeowner, stated 3 individuals entered his residence and he had shot one of them with a 9mm handgun. When officers arrived at the house near 280 Bridger Drive, they found Lopez lying in the driveway with a gunshot wound to the abdomen. Paramedics transported him to Logan Regional Hospital, where he made comments about knowing the homeowner and taking care of business. Logan City Police Lieutenant Brad Franke said investigators do not believe last Saturday was a random burglary attempt. They suspect there was an ongoing dispute between Lopez and the homeowner that triggered the incident. Franke said after the criminal case and warrant were filed, law enforcement attempted to arrest Lopez at McCady Hospital, but he had already fled. Police have had multiple involvements with him and are considering him a fugitive. Logan City engineer Darren Farrar, along with Greg McDonald and Dan Erickson from Utah Geological Survey, were investigating a cliff that sloughed off and crashed into the backyard of Kim Wadsworth's home, located at 1080 Thrushwood Drive in Logan. The slide happened Tuesday, April 18th at about 9 p.m. The trees and mud that crashed through the chain-link fence made quite a racket, but she said she didn't hear it. Wadsworth has lived in the home since 2014 and had never seen a slide like that before. She called the city, and she said they were very responsive to the situation. Farrar said that a canal at the edge of the property probably kept more of the debris from getting in Wadsworth's yard. And Salt Lake County paid $1.5 million to the mother of Brianna Jimenez to resolve her wrongful death lawsuit against the county. The lawsuit alleged jail employees caused her death on June 17, 2019, following an accidental overdose, and violated her constitutional right to receive medical treatment for her severe life-threatening medical emergency, citing the attitude of its employees and administrators was one of callous indifference toward human life. It's taken almost 4 years for a resolution in the case, with the settlement money coming from the county's risk management fund, with the county admitting no liability or wrongdoing and releasing all claims against those named in the lawsuit. Since Jimenez's death, her mother, Brandy Tibbetts, has been searching for answers and accountability. The money, she says, will help her move forward. She is now able to pay for her daughter's memorial for her grave, which is next to her son, Brianna's brother, who died shortly after. KVNU weather brought to you by U&I Furniture. Stop in during the spring sale on mattresses. The most talked about mattress is the copper-infused memory foam. It sleeps cool and is responsive to touch. Great for side sleepers or if you have back issues. Come in for a demo. There's always a better buy at U&I, downtown Logan, 28 West, 1st North. It's a weekend and week ahead to keep an eye on the rivers and streams. Warmer temperatures in our forecast. Overnight low tonight, mid-30s, sunny around 70 tomorrow. Sunday and Monday, we're talking around 80 degrees. For the latest news, visit CashValleyDaily.com.
With this incredibly cold and wet winter, it's put everybody behind on lawn care services. Logan Extermination is ready to serve you. They offer the following services: outside bug spray from April to October for $65 per spray. Spray for weeds in your lawn as soon as possible for only $45 per 5,000 square feet. Don't forget, Logan Extermination can aerate your lawn to get airflow to combat the extra snow and moisture. Call Logan Extermination today. Logan Extermination, 752-8450.
Covering all the news. Stay with 610 AM and 102.1 FM. News Talk KVNU.
With the arrival of spring, Cache Stormwater Coalition wants to remind us all of 5 simple things we can do to improve our local water source. Pick up and dispose of pet waste. Sweep up and remove loose grass clippings or leaves from sidewalks and hard surfaces. Sweep fertilizers or other lawn chemicals back onto the grassy areas. Wash equipment or vehicles on the grass or at your favorite local professional car wash. And properly dispose of used automotive fluids or dry up and clean up any spills or leaks. We can all make a difference if we do our part. Brought to you by the Cache Stormwater Coalition.
It's the grand opening of the Logan Super Chicks, Saturday, April 29th.
Yep, that's tomorrow.
709 South Main. The first 100 people in line receive a free chicken sandwich, and someone will be selected to win 1 free meal each week for 1 year. Join the party starting at 11 a.m. Hand-breaded or grilled chicken, salads, hand-cut fries, and the most amazing frozen custard you'll ever taste. Everything is made to order and fresh. In fact, there's not even a freezer on site. Experience authentic hospitality at Super Chicks grand opening. Open 11 to 9 Monday through Thursday, Friday and Saturday till 10, and open on Sunday.
Slough in the Rough. This golf tournament is scheduled for May 12th at the Logan River Golf Course. Registration will begin at 8 with a 9 a.m. shotgun and then lunch, awards, and prizes immediately following play. Get your team signed up for a good time and a great cause. Slough in the Rough will benefit students and teachers with scholarships and grants within the Logan School District. Call 755-2300 to sign up. Cost for a foursome is $800. Call 755-2300 and tell them you want to play Friday, May 12th in Slough in the Rough.
Mothers are simply the best, so treat her with nothing but the best this Mother's Day with a delicious brunch buffet at Elements Restaurant. Omelets to order, hot pancakes with maple syrup, slow roasted prime rib, fresh salmon, deep fried shrimp, and many more delicious options, including a full dessert bar. Because she's special, treat Mom to something extraordinary this Mother's Day. Elements Restaurant Mother's Day Brunch, Sunday, May 14th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Google Elements Restaurant to reserve online or call 750-5171.
With the arrival of spring, Cache Stormwater Coalition wants to remind us all of 5 simple things we can do to improve our local water source. Pick up and dispose of pet waste. Sweep up and remove loose grass clippings or leaves from sidewalks and hard surfaces. Sweep fertilizers or other lawn chemicals back onto the grassy areas. Wash equipment or vehicles on the grass or at your favorite local professional car wash. And properly dispose of used automotive fluids or dry up and clean up any spills or leaks. We can all make a difference if we do our part. Brought to you by the Cache Stormwater Coalition.
I can hear a heartbeat from 1,000 miles, and the heavens open up every time.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People movie show. Andy Morgan joining us in just a bit. We've got a lot to talk about. There are actually several big new movie announcements. We have new films playing, old films playing. The 40th anniversary of the Return of the Jedi in theaters throughout Utah, though sadly not here. But throughout Utah, you can find theaters playing Return of the Jedi on the big screen. This is, again, the 40th anniversary of that. Judy Blume fans, if you're a Judy Blume fan, if you remember those books from school, I know I do. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret film is actually playing now. That is playing in Logan, by the way, at the Providence Theaters. And it is... I didn't get to see this at Sundance, but it was at Sundance where it premiered. And this is produced by James L. Brooks. His name's gone on all kinds of famous things. It stars Kathy Bates and Rachel McAdams, and written and directed by Kelly Fremon Craig. And that is, it was a hit with audiences, I know, at Sundance, but I haven't seen it myself. So, yeah, a lot to talk about. Some big announcements. The next Spideyverse animated movie expected in June, and we've got a trailer on that we can talk about. But I wanted to talk just a little bit about a film that is here in Logan, playing at the Providence Megaplex Theaters, that you might not have heard much about. And it's a story that I didn't know really any of the story until an episode of The Office. Here's the backstory on this. If you're not an Office fan, if you're an Office fan, you already know how George Foreman connects to The Office. But if you are not an Office fan, quick explanation: there's an episode of The Office where Michael Scott, the boss, burns his foot on a George Foreman grill because he likes the smell of bacon in the morning. So when he goes to sleep at night, he puts 2 strips of bacon on a George Foreman grill, plugs it into a timed outlet on the wall, and it goes off like an alarm, and he wakes up to the smell of bacon. Well, on this day in this episode of The Office, he steps off the bed right onto the George Foreman grill, burns his foot, and the episode starts with him calling, asking for help. So, I watch The Office as reruns sometimes as background music background noise while I'm cleaning or cooking or whatever. And there was this episode on a couple of weeks ago, and it's the George Foreman episode and George Foreman Grill episode. And I just got curious about how did George Foreman get into the grill business in the first place? So I started, just Googling some of that, and I realized I'd never actually known Foreman's story. And then I started reading about it. And then I remember this film was coming out. And anyway, I'm kind of excited about this one. And I'm not by any means a boxing fan. In fact, I think I think it is one of the most boring sports to watch ever. And I don't understand why it would even be fun to be competing in. That's how little I care for boxing, but I'm pretty excited to see this movie. Foreman's story itself is really unique. He grew up not only poor, but just, his family was, they were struggling on so many levels, and he got really angry as a teen, and had some incidents at school, and he found through a coach who approached him a way to channel that anger, and ended up becoming Olympic gold medalist and world heavyweight champion in boxing. And then he had a near-death experience that took him out of the ring and kind of turned him into a preacher. So it's really, I don't know. It's kind of a cool story of a person who didn't really ever have a plan, and Foreman says that himself in his autobiography. He didn't really ever have a plan to do any of this. It all just sort of happened. But it's a cool story about that aspect of life, I guess, and where this all goes. It also, by the way, it has some famous people in it: George Tillman Jr., Chris Davis, Sullivan Jones, and Academy Award winner Forrest Whitaker is in this.
Did you just say Sullivan Jones?
Sullivan Jones.
I'm just kidding.
Sullivan Jones. 2 last names. Mr. 2 last names.
You never trust somebody
with 2 last names. I was just telling everybody as you're arriving here that I'm surprised.
Big George Foreman.
I'm surprised. I'm excited to see this. I don't care.
I am as well.
I really.
I'm just kidding.
I honestly don't care for the guy. He's always kind of irritated me. But I didn't know the story, and the most I knew about him is that he made a line of grills.
And have you cooked
that
food?
Hilarious episode of The Office that was loosely based on that. Yeah, Pam, I burned my foot.
Wait, Michael, are these the grills that you? Is this the grill that you burned your foot on?
That's right. It comes up later on in the season when they're having the barbecue in the parking lot. Is this the grill you burned your foot on? Yeah, but I cleaned it. And I love that they finally get him to calm down by giving him an aspirin, and that's all it takes. He finally has a nap and leaves everybody alone. But no, I'm surprised because I'd never known any of this guy's story really. I mean, I had bits and pieces, but after I was just curious again. I'm like, how do you go from world heavyweight champion to here's my line of grills,
right?
And so I started reading about his story, and it's an interesting story. But it's also,
we're having a little
Technology meltdown. Andy just
I think
panicked. I thought he was going to throw that thing through the window.
AI is Siri's like, I'll get you. I hear what you say about me. She's like, so I'm going to play, and I don't even know what this is.
Surprise!
Yeah. It looks like maybe this year's like the Spice Girls, but they were reborn. That was
well. You continue that
really bizarre
battle with your technology. How about we take our first break and then officially get things underway here?
I like it.
All right, we'll be back with more of the For the People movie show and Andy Morgan right after this.
News Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
Hi, it's John Weiss. At Heritage Jeep, we always look forward to the Jeep Celebration Sales Event, where you can receive 3 years of vehicle maintenance with your purchase. We've got great deals on a full lineup of new Jeep vehicles all month long at Heritage. Check out the all-new 2023 Wagoneer, winner of the Best Luxury Utility Vehicle, or lease a 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xE, just $389 a month. Get started at heritageeprice.com. Heritage Jeep, your hometown dealer with the biggest deals.
What makes essential workers essential?
We build safe roads for you to drive on.
We harvest fresh produce for your families to eat.
We help you heal when you're sick.
We get you where you need to go.
We keep where you work and live clean and safe.
We make sure you get what you need to make your household work.
You're the essential workers who help our nation run. You're in every city, town, and corner of our country, and you come from all over the globe. And you have essential protections under the law. I'm Marty Walsh. The Wage and Hour Division at the Department of Labor helps ensure you receive the essential protections you deserve. If you have questions about your pay or about your job protection during an illness, visit our website or call 866-4US-WAGE. That's 866-487-9243. We can provide help in more than 200 languages.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Labor.
The Above and Beyond Salute.
Hello? Yeah, good morning. Is Misty Nash there?
This is her.
Somebody contacted our radio stations on our website and said that you have taught preschool for the Logan City School District while supporting your family. Is that you?
That's me.
Those little kids can be a challenge sometime, can't they?
They can be, but they're worth it.
I have a $40 gift card from Firehouse Subs here in Logan to say thank you for going above and beyond in our community, Misty.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Submit your nominations for the Above and Beyond Salute by visiting kvnutalk.com.
Another bride, another June, another Saturday.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People movie show with Andy Morgan joining us here in the studio. A lot to talk about. There's been a lot of movie news. There's been we actually do have some premieres. I talked about Big George Foreman already. And what's the other one? Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, the Judy Blume novel.
Are you excited? I'm still playing catch up. That's just how my life has been.
It happens.
It does happen. I have a new, I would say I have a new, not a top movie, but like tied for some of my favorite movies of the year.
Really?
That I saw.
Wait, bring us up to speed on this.
It came out recently. We hadn't reviewed it yet just because.
That Dinesh D'Souza movie, I know. That was January, right?
What was that? I mean, I know he probably did, but what's it called? Never mind. I'm just not going to say anything.
Look what I found.
Is that what it's? It's just Look What I Found, Part 1.
Yeah.
It's but he's at like part.
This guy's a genius.
Yay!
Did you ever see his movie?
No.
Hey, go watch a Dinesh D'Souza movie. Ironically. Like, go watch it knowing you're going to laugh. Don't watch it seriously.
What is that? That
Don't
reminds
think
me
about
of
the fact that there are people out there that watch these and go, ooh, investigative journalism.
That actually reminds me of that line in The Other Guys when he says, "Did you learn how to do ballet ironically?" That's such a great line. That's a great movie, Jason.
I forgot about that.
Just a great show. I hope that.
I have no idea why I put that piece of donut in my mouth.
I do this
in the middle of a radio show.
I do this impression of Alec Baldwin doing an impression of Tony Baldwin. It makes me laugh every time, and I'll say it just in my normal conversation, and people just look at me like, "What? You know what I'm talking about. We watched a skit one day.
I think
it's a great, just a great cinema.
We've got a
great movie, Jason.
Speaking of this is loosely tied to movies, so this tangent is not a complete tangent. But I discovered something just today I didn't know existed. This is the beauty of social media. So I get this little break, and I'm flipping through Twitter, and I don't even know how it comes up, but suddenly people are talking about Rick Moranis and George Carlin apparently had a huge beef.
Really?
And I instantly, I've never heard this. I want to know.
I got to know this story.
Well, it's a quick story, and it's actually funny, and I'll see if I can find the clip. I should have saved it for the show. I didn't even think about it, but it was Rick Moranis used to do stand-up before Ghostbusters fame and all that.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and then
Parenthood.
And then disappearing from all of our lives forever.
Father of the Bride.
But he did stand up for a long time in the same era that George Carlin was at his most popular, the mid to late 80s.
Okay.
And apparently one of the things he would end his show with is a George Carlin impression. There was also a criticism. It was called Phoned In George Carlin. And it was actually hilarious. But so apparently they had this run-in in an awards show, and Carlin said...
Wait, they were both nominated for an award?
They were both, they were both at an... Well, they were in the
Just
audience. They were both at an awards show, and Carlin called him on it, and Moranis said, look, it's funny, but at the same time, you got to admit, man, this stuff you're doing now, it's not like the edgy stuff you started with.
Yeah.
And Carlin said in his autobiography, apparently, that exchange changed his life. And he remained friends with Rick Moranis until the day of his death. Yeah,
interesting.
Because
so their beef was short-lived,
very short-lived. And then I saw the clip of Rick Moranis doing Phoned In George Carlin, and it's hilarious because it's funny. It's perfect. But his point is that George Carlin had gotten kind of boring.
Okay,
but still had his anyway. So there's my. I promise that's my one tangent contribution to the hour.
I got you.
Until we talk about Star Wars 40th anniversary of the Return of the Jedi movie.
I know,
in
right?
theaters here in Logan at the University Theater.
Not only that, but we also have.
I'm sorry.
Next week.
No, it's not.
What is next week?
Next week is
May the 4th.
Yeah, 4th day.
May the 4th be with you, Jason.
May the 4th.
May the 4th be with you.
That was just the most horribly planned.
Sounds like Donald Duck.
I feel like I need to correct this.
May the 4th be with you, Jason.
I feel like I need to correct this because I said it is playing here in Logan. It is not.
It's not.
But it is playing in Ogden is what I meant to say.
But there are other movies that are playing. You mentioned a few that opened. We know that George Foreman, Big Old George Foreman or whatever the show's called. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, the name's kind of...
They didn't have a press screening for that.
It doesn't inspire confidence. I'm not saying this will be a good movie. I'm saying that I'm surprised. I'm curious to see it.
That's correct.
On a streaming service a couple of
correct.
years from now when I'm really bored.
John Wick Chapter 4 is still playing at Providence. I believe it's Providence. Yeah, at the Providence Theater. That is, I will say, right now, the best John Wick next to the first. You don't have... I mean, you probably should see 2 or 3 if you really want to. We talked about this.
Yeah, I think
that was one of my favorite.
Appreciate them more if you've seen the earlier ones.
That was one of my favorite movies of the year, next to Mithrigan. Someone's like, "What is that? I've not heard of that." It's Megan. Okay, oh.
But it's
anyway,
spelled with a 3, so it's Mithrigan.
Dungeons and Dragons. That was another one we talked about last.
I'm absolutely surprised that movie is still in theaters.
Dungeons and Dragons.
But wait, let me qualify that. Before seeing it, I would have been very surprised. I wouldn't have believed you if you would have said, this movie is going to be in theaters for more than a month. I would have said, no, it won't.
You say, nope.
And now that I've seen it, it definitely makes sense that it's still here.
You're talking about Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Okay.
The fact, that's a movie that, the movies like that usually come and go in a week.
Here's one that's going to make you sad.
This one is really good.
It is. No, and it's you know what it is? It's kind of, I don't know. I was going to say something about Marvel, and then I was like, nope, I'm not opening that trunk. I'm not opening that baggage, because that'll just take us down to Star Wars town.
Takes away from our Star Wars time.
It will. And we need to talk about CinenaCon and some other things that have happened, some trailers that are out. And I do want to talk about the movie that I saw, and that's what I was actually going to bring up. So you mentioned, big old... I'm sorry, I just have to
Big old George
Foreman's playing. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, which looks very funny. Again, that was not screened for the press. Bo is Afraid is playing. I'm I just don't have words, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. I heard someone else made this comment, and it's probably the best comment that I can make is to quote their comment. And they said it was the Citizen Kane of mommy movies, of mommy issue movies. I'm sorry. It's just
different.
It's almost like he made Hereditary. Ari Aster. He made Hereditary. He made Midsommar, and everyone was like, "Well done, sir." You know what? How about one for you?
I think
2 for me, 1 for you.
I feel like this is one of those. There are certain types of art house movies that very talented directors each get one mulligan, I think, for this.
Well,
they all do their I'm just being weird because I can movie. And I think that's this for him.
And you know what I realized about this? This is what I realized about this movie.
There's an animated scene. Randomly, for no reason. There's just a scene that's animated.
I realized this is the movie, this is the type of movie that lives in the fringe between of awards glory and just in nowhere, right? It doesn't really fit. It's something where there's enough critics that are deep film, like the beret wearing guys, where it's marvelous, it's fresh, but it's just not quite consumable by most people. And there's
Vanilla Sky.
Yeah, and so
somebody Vanilla Sky is actually a good movie. It's just put together. If you re-edited that movie, it probably would have been a blockbuster. Instead, it's just weird and pointless.
That's true. There are some other movies still playing here in the Valley. There's The Covenant. That's actually new, I believe, this week. Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. In fact, we were told by the public relations firm that if we were to refer to the movie The Covenant, we were supposed to say, remember, the title is Guy Ritchie's The Covenant.
Yeah, I know. Is there? I thought that was a joke until I read that this was a real thing. That's the actual title. Is there a reason?
I think they want to. My guess is The Covenant sounds like either either a religious movie or a horror movie.
Okay.
And I think if they put Guy Ritchie before it, then it makes you think, okay, this is something else, which it is.
Yeah.
The Pope's Exorcist, which, by the way, really, truly, in real life is Russell Crowe. I'm sorry. That's not true, but let's pretend it is.
It wouldn't really be that
surprise me.
Big of a stretch.
And all they ask him to do when he encounters a demon is just sing his songs from Les Mis.
If you saw a headline that said Russell Crowe is now the Pope's exorcist, I think most people would be like, his career trajectory, it just makes sense.
And when I made the comment about him singing, that's how he gets the demons to leave someone out driving in their car right now, it's like, I know that's true. I bet that's true. Both theaters still have Super Mario Brothers.
The worst insult I've ever received in my life.
Somebody said you sing like Russell Crowe?
No, they said I looked like him.
And it
was when he was at his heaviest. It wasn't like
I was just
Gladiator Russell Crowe.
Did you say
it was like the math movie Russell Crowe?
You said wait.
And I said,
you said
what?
Wait, you said wait a minute. I have a question. Is it Gladiator, LA Confidential? And they were like, nah, I think like that
the math movie.
Wait, what?
Beautiful Mind.
He plays a science teacher in The Insider, and remember they grayed his hair and thinned his hair, and he gained weight. I
was kind of offended, and then they did clarify. They're like, no, I mean like younger, thinner Russell Crowe.
Isn't it funny how stuff like that sticks with you?
Yeah. And the same person later came back, and they felt so bad about
was it Jessica?
My reaction? No, but this was. She would do that on purpose.
She would.
No, this is another person, and they came back months later, and knowing that I'd kind of been put off by that comparison, she said, "I realized I was wrong. Do you ever watch The Walking Dead?" And I didn't like where this was going already. And she said, "You look like the governor."
Okay.
I don't talk to her anymore.
Yeah, that's not
I'm like,
friend.
all right, that's twice.
Yeah, I made that mistake one time. And by the way, one time when on Andy at the Movies, I had written an article that was like, this is a while back too. I should point out, and I wrote an article about just my just distaste for Twilight, just in general. Big surprise. And so, one of the twihards that got into my comments, or I don't know, what's a fanatic?
I think twihard
a twizealot. Anyway, they got into my comments and they said, I don't think you should be talking about anybody's looks since you look like Ron Perlman. And I was like, that makes me really sad.
One, you definitely do not, and two, zing.
I think it had something to do with
quite an insult.
The size of my head. Maybe he has got a giant head. I've got a fairly large head, both metaphorically and physically.
Some photos, it can make you look very different.
I thought I looked like Clint Eastwood in the photo. A bald Clint Eastwood.
I've always thought that was one reason. I'm not a vain person, but we're all our own worst critics, and I've always thought it would be very weird to be an actor in film and then see yourself like in IMAX. Can you
true.
imagine?
Well, celebrity Jason, we know from Us Magazine that
ear growing hair.
Celebrities are just like us, okay? And they get ice cream, they go shopping. They just don't have jobs. That's not true, actually.
The one thing that somebody told me once about movie sets that I think really puts what you're saying there in the best perspective. Somebody told me, if everybody realized that on movie sets the actors have a haircut every morning.
Yeah, it's just they're in makeup and wardrobe for an hour.
So they literally go in and shave their neckline and neck.
Well, and same thing with award shows
on every morning before filming.
They're not going on
because they have to look the same.
Yeah, they're not going on Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon or Good Morning America, or they're not going up and giving their Oscar speech. And they just got up in the morning and put on some Speed Stick and threw some gel in their hair, and they're like, ready to go.
Ready to go. Which is what the rest of us do.
And let me tell you something, too. I guarantee, they might not say it out loud, but I guarantee that I'm sure Ryan Gosling or Brad Pitt, when they look at themselves in the mirror, I guarantee there are things that they don't like.
Oh.
It's just because everybody's the
same.
same.
I think that's why they hate paparazzi, because those are the street pics.
That's true.
Like leaving the grocery store, fat Brad Pitt.
That's true. And you're like, oh, Britney Spears has sweaty pits just like me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Jogging suit pants.
I do have some disappointing news to say. So the movie that I wanted to talk about today for a minute was playing in the Valley until today.
Do you know the story on that?
On Renfield?
Yeah, what happened? It came and went.
Renfield is one of the best movies of the year. If you're a Nicolas Cage fan, there just is no way to get around that. It is so Nicolas Cage.
That's what, and the cult following for that. I really expected this to be in theaters longer, even here.
Awkwafina is great. It's just a great vampire show about Lord Dracula. Anyway,
it looks
reminds me of. Never mind, I can't go down that route. But it's really good. It's definitely R-rated. It's really gooey, not in the sense of gooiness, kind of like Evil Dead, right? Which actually is doing very well in theaters. I shouldn't say very well. It's doing well in theater. It's doing better than anticipated in theaters, and it's also was actually really well received by both critics and audiences. So, but Renfield, I'm surprised is left because it's a treat. It's really funny.
I thought it would attract enough of an audience to be around for a while.
Great take on great kind of different take on Dracula. Just the whole Dracula. I don't know how. There's a trailer floating around the internet right now that makes it sound like they didn't mean it to come out. There's a movie coming out in August with called The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Have you seen that trailer?
I saw the trailer for that.
Basically, if they're like, hey, can you guys take Dracula's coffin across the ocean? I don't know if they meant to do it on purpose, but and then it has old, the Hand of the King with his missing fingers from Game of Thrones.
That one
Davos.
reminded me of Guillermo del Toro and The guy that wrote The Town.
You're thinking of
Chuck whatever. They wrote a book together.
Yeah, they wrote
The Strain.
The Strain.
Yeah.
Which was a great first book, and then after that you went,
Yeah.
wow, can we make this?
Yeah, and don't even bother with the TV show. But that's the plot of that, is they're bringing Dracula over the ocean.
Yes.
Because things
Yep.
interesting.
So here's what I'd say. Check out, see if it's in any other theaters. I'll actually
I was
look.
just trying to look here, but
I don't know if it's down in Ogden. If it's still in Ogden, I think it's, if you're really, really wanting to see a movie, I definitely think that it is worth your while. If you missed it while I was here in Old Cache Valley, let's take a look here at the Junction.
While you're looking, how about we...
No, there's
I can't see it.
No Renfield.
Yeah,
we'll figure out where it's playing. You may have to go to St. George.
It looks gone. That's too bad. Maybe, actually, on the other side of these, we should talk about this, because this actually ties in with the question we got from a listener that is right along these lines. So,
really quick.
Okay.
It is not playing. I don't believe it's playing. Let's see. Oh, that's not true. It's in the Gateway.
Oh, okay.
Valley Fair, West Valley. The joke I made about St. George is actually accurate.
Yeah.
It's in Centerville. That's probably the closest.
That's
so Legacy Crossing. Head down there, do some shopping at Old Farmington Station, and catch a show.
Those are also the places you can see the Return of the Jedi in the theaters for the 40th
make it a
anniversary.
double feature.
Yeah, Valley Fair,
Right?
Valley Fair, Thanksgiving Point, Legacy Crossing, Jordan Commons, and the Vineyard.
Well, things are about to get...
Or, excuse me, the Geneva. At Vineyard.
Things are about to get crazy. We are officially kicking off. It's still spring, but I would say we're kicking off summer.
Oh, cool.
Next week.
All right.
Yep.
Summer movie
teaser.
talk.
Teaser.
Summer movie talk early. Right after these headlines with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News is brought to you by Roof Rescue. A 28-year-old volunteer assistant high school softball coach was charged with multiple felonies after reports said that she had sexual contact with a student athlete. Riley Ann Lutz from Paris, Idaho, is charged with felony sexual battery of a child committed by lewd or lascivious acts and sexual battery of a minor child between 16 and 17 years of age. She pleaded not guilty to all charges on April 6th. Bear Lake School District Superintendent Gary Brogan told East Idaho News the last time Lutz coached was at the end of the spring 2022 softball season. He also confirmed she was a volunteer coach who was never paid by the district. A teacher in Utah County was arrested Wednesday after allegedly conducting class after consuming alcohol, becoming angry while teaching the class, and subsequently striking a student. Court documents say the incident was caught on camera. According to a probable cause statement filed April 26, the teacher is Carlos Alfredo Castillo of Payson. Police say video shows 61-year-old Castillo hitting the student in the back. They would not release that to media. An officer located Castillo in the school's parking lot. The arrest report says the teacher was sitting in the driver's seat of his vehicle. Court documents state Castillo reportedly behaved as if he were intoxicated, using the vehicle to support himself when exiting at the officer's command and slurring his speech while answering questions. And a 70-year-old man was injured after being attacked by a cougar up Spanish Fork Canyon. Sergeant Spencer Cannon with the Utah County Sheriff's Office said the attack occurred on Diamond Fork at around 1 p.m. Thursday. The man suffered lacerations on his arms and head, but managed to escape the cat. Cannon said the man was taken to a nearby hospital where he was reported to be in fair condition. The Utah Division of Wildlife Resources announced that they were going to be searching for the cougar in that area today. KVNU weather brought to you by Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology. Turn life up. Schedule a free hearing evaluation with Dr. Paul Daines at Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology. Go to cachehearing.com. Partly cloudy tonight, low in the mid-30s, and then sunny around 70 on Saturday. Quite warm Sunday and Monday, 80 degrees both Sunday and then again Monday with partly cloudy skies. You can always get more news at CashValleyDaily.com.
This is David from Roof Rescue. A roof is not something most people think about until they notice a leak on the ceiling. This time of year, fluctuation in temperatures, along with rain, snow, and ice, can do a number on your roof. If you notice these leaks, they won't go away on their own and are oftentimes a sign that the roof has reached the beginning of the end of its life. Call Roof Rescue for a free analysis, diagnosis, and estimate. Let's fix those leaks and keep you dry this winter. Call 435-999-4268 or visit roofrescueusa.com. Roof Rescue, providing watertight peace of mind.
We all need a reason to celebrate warm weather, so come celebrate Cinco de Mayo at the Cache County Fairgrounds, Friday, May 5th. Mariachi bands, Zumba, traditional Mexican folk dancers and singers will all have you dancing to their rhythm into the evening. And several food trucks are serving up authentic Mexican treats to satisfy your appetite. Bring the whole family. There's something for all ages. This year's celebration is presented by Presto Products in Lewiston. Apply today for a career that can improve your life at Presto Products. DD Auto and Salvage. They pay you the best price on junk vehicles and scrap metal. DD Auto and Salvage. Members First Credit Union. Large enough to provide the service you need, yet small enough to provide the service you deserve. Members First Credit Union invites you to join us at the Cache County Fairgrounds and experience the vibrant colors, sounds, and tastes of Mexico at this year's Cinco de Mayo celebration. Friday, May 5th at the Cache County Fairgrounds.
Here's Chad Norton, the lawn doctor, with a tip for your lawn.
It's that time of year again. As you look out at your lawn, you will see lots of matted down, dead-looking grass. It's most likely snow mold. Simply take a leaf rake and give it a good raking to fluff up that old grass. By doing this, the sun will bring it out of dormancy quicker.
For more helpful tips for your yard, go to the Lawn Doctor's Cache Valley Facebook page. To schedule lawn services, go to LawnDoctorCacheValley.com or call 753-LAWN.
Planning your funeral shouldn't be the last thing you do. Pre-planning is actually quite common. Allen Mortuaries recommends you plan it all in advance. That way, you have time to think and arrange things the way you want them. Then, when the time comes, your loved ones can focus on what's important. Family. Allen Mortuaries.
This is Jason Allen with Allen Mortuaries, serving Cache Valley for over 80 years. Then, now, always.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People movie show. We've covered a lot of ground here, but we still have to talk about...
From now on, can you say starring?
Starring Andy Morgan.
I'm just kidding.
You may know him from...
You may know
Big
him.
George Foreman.
From big old George Foreman.
Disney's Peter Pan and Wendy.
That was the...
Coming soon.
That was the sequel.
And... Waterboy.
So this week... you
have to find him in that movie.
This week was CinenaCon in Las Vegas.
I've always wanted to go to this.
I think it would be
this
really
and
cool.
HorrorCon. I want to go to CinemaCon and HorrorCon.
Let's go to CinemaCon next year. Let's
I'd do that.
Let's throw in our press credentials. It's just in Vegas.
I would do that.
We can drive. Can't we drive the KVNU van?
Yeah, I'm sure they'd let us go down
There's
there.
Bill. Let's ask
represent.
Bill. Bill, can we drive the KVNU van
down to Vegas for CinemaCon?
Bill said yes. And we all know who really runs this place. It's Bill.
I have one last quick trailer to plug. Well, before I forget, everybody watch this. I haven't seen it. I don't know. It's the trailer describes the film. The people who made the film describe the film as John Wick meets Mad Max, but it's called Sisu. I think is how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
SISU. Anyway, okay, that's my last one. I'll shut up now.
No.
I'm just remembering everything I watched last night and prep for the movie show today.
I think I appreciate you doing your prep.
I was
bringing your notes.
I was getting ready.
You guys don't see this right now, but Jason has a stack of colored index cards.
Well, I thought you were going to come in here wanting to spend the whole hour talking about big old George Foreman. And I knew I wasn't going to get to see it, so I thought I'd have something else ready.
I'd love to hear from listeners of their favorite George Foreman grill recipe, but I don't want to talk about the movie.
Fair enough. Recipe's probably better.
Delicious. Burned foot. Anyway.
Damn, I burned my foot.
Actually, I should make a plug here. This book came out in 2022, but I just finished it. It's called Office Ladies. And it's basically the book version of Jenna Fisher and Angela, I don't know her real name, Kinsey. That played Angela and Pam on The Office, and it's kind of like a behind the scenes look, but from their their point of view, and it's
kind of cool.
It's if you watch The Office and you thought to yourself, man, that just seems like a big family. It's pretty true.
That would be kind of cool.
She also does confirm that Steve Carell is the nicest man in Hollywood.
Yeah.
I was actually going to talk. We were talking about people in their trailers and celebrities. They're just like us. We were talking about that. But that's something. That's why people like to get to movies eventually.
Yeah.
Because TV, this is what I think is funny. Is there's this perception of actors and actresses and filmmakers and whatever is, do you have a real job kind of thing?
Yeah.
But this is not a joke. Like these people wake up at 5 a.m. to make it to wardrobe and makeup. It's 6. They have a trailer, but they go to their trailer for a half hour to have lunch in the middle of shooting in the middle of the day. And they're shooting for 10 to 12 hours a day. And it's not all the time, right? It's not all the time, but we had a guest here one time, and I said, do you like TVs or movie better? And she said that she liked TV because it was steady work. You always had a steady paycheck.
Yeah.
Whereas movies, maybe you make $50,000 and then you don't work for 6 months.
Yeah.
You have to be a movie star for a movie career really to be your, your bread and butter. So that's why Steve Carell left The Office. Not because he was upset with The Office. His movie career took off, with the 40-Year-Old Virgin, and he had that great cameo in Bruce Almighty.
Hilarious cameo.
Is the anchor.
Best part of that movie.
It is. It's great, and that's and then he obviously hit it big with the 40-Year-Old Virgin, and then we obviously know everything that happened after that. But
start getting into the serious roles.
Yeah,
that's when I started to like him.
Yeah, and
as a movie star, I always liked him as Michael.
Agreed.
On The Office, but as a movie star, when he started taking some of the serious roles and was good at it.
There is a Woody Allen movie,
Little Miss Sunshine. I think was the first movie where I thought, okay, he's an actor.
He has some
he's a
acting
good actor.
chops. Yeah, that's a good one. I think another one. Everyone talks about Foxcatcher. I have a problem with movies where someone wears prosthetics to enhance their performance.
And it was just depressing. Like I spent the whole movie wondering, why did this story need to be told? This isn't to raise awareness. I'm all for raising awareness about certain things, even if it's hard to watch.
Right.
Or it's a story that you feel needs to be told for the historical record, or, I get all of that. This was just, hey, here's this really sad thing that happened once. Everybody in the movie ends up in a worse situation than when the movie started.
Yeah.
And we thought this story would be fun for you. So thanks for paying your money and sitting down and
enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. No, there's that. I think the movie I really like him in, and I'm probably going to get this wrong, but it's a Woody Allen film, and it has Bella from Twilight, Kristen Stewart. And it's got Steve Carell, and it's got Jesse Eisenberg, who I'm not a huge Jesse Eisenberg fan.
Irritating as all hell.
I cannot remember. I want to say it was Cafe Society. Does that sound right?
I think that's it.
I'm looking.
I watched.
I was right. Look at my memory's not failing me. Yeah, Cafe Society, 2016. Steve Carell's great in that. He's also really good. And if you've ever, when he teamed up with Timothée Chalamet in Beautiful Boy. That's another movie that's, but to your point, Jason, why did this have to be made? I am sad the whole time.
Yeah.
Really quick, though, there was just a lot of, basically, CinemaCon is less for fans and more, it's more for the theater distributors. It's more for, the theater chains. It's almost like Hollywood basically coming up and saying, hey, guys, be excited. Here's what we got. Here's the slate, right? And there's a lot of teasing things there. So, for instance, there was a teaser for the Equalizer 3, the final chapter, in case you were wondering if one was coming. There was a teaser for Gran Turismo, which is, again, video game to movie.
Yeah.
Insidious, The Red Door, the final chapter in the Insidious saga,
And
which
this is
until it's not.
So this is the fourth, right?
That's right.
Fourth Insidious movie.
Yep.
I've liked them so far. I mean, they're not as good as the Conjuring or Paranormal Activity franchises, but I've liked them.
They also showed some footage from, believe it or not, they are making a sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife with Paul Rudd and Finn Wolfhard and McKenna Grace. Not much is known about it. It just knows that the footage showed him in New York City.
Yeah,
which was the setting for the original.
I want a sequel to the remake with.
With the Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Stewart. Yeah, I think that would be good.
I really think that would be funny.
There was a teaser from Persona non grata Will Smith and
still.
I'm just gonna.
He hasn't been absolved
he's not
yet.
going to the Oscars. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You think he wins?
Where's my ticket?
And then Martin Lawrence. They were there talking about Bad Boys 4. There was They had a new trailer and an actual screening of The Flash. I can't remember if it was Kevin Smith said it. Somebody tweeted and said, "This is the best superhero movie I've ever seen," and I was like, "I don't believe you."
Yeah, I mean it looks really good, but
yeah,
I think it's going to be. They just can't. They need to figure something out.
Yep. They also showed
they always just barely come in under potential.
Yeah, there was a look at Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, in case you wondered if there was a sequel to Aquaman coming out.
See, I don't think they should do that.
It is. Well, it's too late now.
I think that
Christmas, man.
I think that's a standalone movie that stands fine on its own and can't support.
Well, you know what?
A trilogy.
If you can make a DeLorean time machine, we may be able to go and fix that. But otherwise, we're in for it. There was another superhero movie that I had no idea even existed called Blue Beetle. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for this.
This looks funny.
Yeah, kind of. I got real Sci-Fi Channel vibes. I was like, is this like a series?
Yeah, it looks sort of low budget and
only in theaters.
But it looks
that's
like
a shame.
It could be really cool and have a bit of that Marvel humor. Do you know what bugged me, though? The whole time I'm watching, I'm like, why won't somebody make a high-budget movie out of The Tick?
Because you can't do it without Patrick Warburton.
Spoon.
There was also a trailer of Dune Part 2.
Kick?
Batmanuel.
Yeah, the moth.
Here's a funny thing about this.
Oh, that cartoon
Here's
was
your
funny.
little piece of trivia for today. The guy that played Batmanuel, which was the Latino Batman in The Tick, right?
Yeah.
He actually played the mayor of Gotham in The Dark Knight, and also in The Dark Knight Rises. The mayor of Gotham was the same actor that played Batmanuel. So there you go. Useless information that no one needed today, but it's Friday, last Friday of April, and there you go. You can write it down, put it in your wallet, and you can tell someone else. Pass it on. Dune Part 2, they showed a trailer for Dune Part 2. This is a movie I'm super excited about.
Is that October or November?
That is November.
Okay.
Villeneuve, the director, Denis Villeneuve. I want it noted that I pronounced that correctly. Most people think it's like Denis Villeneuve because it looks like that, but it's not. It's Denis Villeneuve. He's French. He was joined by Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya for the trailer release, and this is something that if you are a Dune fan and you loved the first movie, the director kind of described it. He said, part one it's a contemplative movie.
Yeah.
He said part two is an action-packed epic war movie, which is more dense. He said we went to all new locations,
which is also sticking with
the book
as well as that first movie did. I'm not a hardliner on that. I understand movies have to take liberties and characters have to be wrapped together into one character, and I'm prepared for all that. But I hate when they take the cool parts of the story and just leave them. And Dune was one of the first movies where they got it perfect.
Yeah, I agree.
So.
One small tidbit. I know we got to run here, but one small tidbit. They did show some footage from the new Wonka movie with Timothée Chalamet, and Hugh Grant plays an Oompa Loompa. So put that in your consciousness.
Oh, really? That's gonna be.
Who knew?
That's gonna be weird.
Hey, I'm excited. Next week we can talk more Star Wars, and it's Guardians of the Galaxy,
the final chapter.
Maybe the best Marvel movie since Endgame.
I think this one's gonna be a good one. I think this is when Marvel rises again.